Small town in Alabama, population 2,500. None of you have ever heard of it. The Housers, I guess, have heard of it. Luverne, Alabama. It's about an hour below Montgomery. And, I can't remember a time I didn't want to write songs or sing. As a kid, do you remember, well, sure you remember, Jeannie C. Riley and Harper Valley PTA? Well, I learned to walk to that record. My mom and dad, you probably never heard of one of these. Actually, someone in Port Huron had one of these last night. I couldn't believe it. I've never found anyone else that did have one. But a coffee table stereo, where it was a little coffee table, and you pull out a drawer, and there was a record player, dude. Have any of you seen one of those? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, all right.
We're old.
What is it? You said?
We're old.
Well, evidently I am too.
I'll be honest,
Well, let me just say this. Harper Valley PTA, my folks had that record, and I literally had it where it would just play over and over again. And I would walk around that table, and I eventually learned really how to walk to Jeannie C. Riley. And it's so funny now, she's a really good friend of ours.
Yeah,
And,
she's a character.
Actually, she says to tell everyone hello. We talked to her earlier. She lives in Texas now. But anyway, my whole point, that was my first musical memory. Then I remember seeing Dolly on the Porter Wagoner TV show, and of course, Hee Haw. And I was just kind of struck. I had to learn how to play guitar. And where I'm from is about 30 miles from where Hank Williams was born and raised. So I grew up around his old band members, his sister and aunts, and started writing songs at an early age. And I didn't play sports. Instead, I had a make-believe radio station in my bedroom. And when I was like 6, 7, and then one morning at the breakfast table, my voice literally went from, "Hey, Mom, would you please pass the Wheaties?" So I started working at the radio station in my hometown at age 11. And I interviewed people like Jeannie C., Farron Young, Johnny Cash, Tammy Wynette. I skipped college, moved to Nashville. The great Mel Tillis gave me my break. He signed me to my first publishing company, and I thought I had it made. But guess what? The rent came due. So I went to, now do you have Kroger up here at grocery stores? Yeah, sure you do. Well, I went to a Kroger grocery store, and I worked at night. And people like Diamond Rio, Crystal Gale, Brooks and Dunn, and Conway Twitty would come through my checkout line. And I had no idea at that time that Diamond Rio would be the ones that really, really kicked off my music career. I was bagging their bacon and their eggs. And again, had no idea that one day they'd record a song I wrote called One More Day. Last night I had a crazy dream. A wish was granted just for me. It could be for anything. I didn't ask for money or a mansion in Malibu. I simply wished one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do, leave me wishing still for one more day with you. First thing I do is pray for time to crawl. Then I'd unplug the telephone, and I'd keep that TV off. I'd hold you every second, and I'd say a million I love yous. That's what I'd do. One more day with you. One more day, one more more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. Thank you so much. Thanks to Diamond Rio, wherever they may be tonight.
I just thought of a joke you could add to that because it's like you were bagging their bacon and then it helped you bring home the bacon. When they cut your song.
Yeah, that's actually a good line.
I know, I thought of that.
Remember that. That's really good. Hey, let me ask you something. How many of you are from here in Plainwell?
Nobody lives in Plainwell.
How many of you are from Kalamazoo?
Okay, we got a couple Kalamazoo. What
Any
else?
Battle Creek?
Okay, I see some.
Okay, when I count to three, everyone tell me where you're from. 1, 2, 3. I was
Atwater.
there last week.
We were there with you.
Really, right?
Carthage.
Well, again, you have so many stories, but you gotta tell this one about the song that had been rejected by everyone you can imagine, and then a Hollywood legend made it happen.
Yep, it's a crazy story. So, a lot of you know my mother, Shelley West, and Uncle David Frizzell made up the duo, Frizzell and West. And some people don't know that they weren't really, necessarily at first trying to be a duet. But my mother was coming out of high school when she told my grandmother, her mom, that she decided she wanted to be a singer, which really kind of shocked my grandmother because she had never heard her say anything like that before. My mom was kind of shy. And she was like, wow, well, I have an idea. Why don't you come on tour with me? I'm about to go back on tour and you could sing backup and I can kind of show you the ropes of the business because the music business is scary. And so, seemed like a great idea. But my grandmother said, I know you're technically an adult now, but I'm still the mother. So I have a little rule of the road, which was just don't be dating any musicians because, don't be dating anybody in the band. It's just trouble to be with a musician. Sorry, Bonnie.
Yeah, thanks.
And so she went on tour, and one day my grandmother goes to hit the bus and hit the road for the weekend, and she's missing one daughter, backup singer, and one lead guitar player, who is my dad, Alan Frizzell. And they had run off together to the West Coast, and they met up with my dad's older brother, David, who had already been touring with Buck Owens and kind of he'd had a record deal and just had been kind of trying out the solo thing. And he had a nightclub, and so they went there, and they were doing the nightclub for a few years there, and then David is recording a new project, and he records this song, and the producer has the idea to put my mom on it with him. So they do it as a duet, and they pitch it all over, and it was literally rejected from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. And everyone passed until Clint Eastwood heard the song, cannot even make this up, and he said, that is a hit song. He said, just make a music label and put this in my movie. And it literally went to #1.
And the movie was Any Which Way You Can.
this one.
There's a full moon over Tulsa. I hope that it's shining. Nights are getting colder in Cherokee County. There's a blue northern passing through. Well, I remember green eyes and a rancher's daughter, but remember is all that I do. Losing you left a pretty good cowboy with nothing to hold on to. Sundown came and I drove to town to have a drink or two. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. And I'm sure missing you.
Hear the city lights outshine the moon. I was just now thinking of you. Sometimes the wind blows, you can see the mountains all the way to Malibu. Everyone's a star here in LA County. You always see the things they do. And all the cowboys down on the Sunset Strip, they wish they could be like you. And Santa Monica Freeway sometimes makes a country girl blue. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. And I'm sure missing you.
Well, I worked 10 hours on a John Deere tractor, thinking of you all day.
I've got a calico cat and a two-room flat on the street in West LA.
You're the reason God made Oklahoma. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. And I'm sure missing you. I'm sure missing